So in John chapter 15, verses 12 through 13, Jesus says,
"This is my commandment, love one another as I love you.
"No one has greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for a friend."
So, how does this apply to our lives and the friendships that we have?
I'm Jeff,
And I'm Mike.
and Mike and I have been friends for about 4 years now. We met here at the University of Washington. We're recent graduates. We actually met here through the freshman group.
So, back to the Bible verse and the question that we posed earlier. How can we apply that to our day-to-day lives? Looking at our friendship over the last few years, we've noticed three key areas in which we can live out this verse, build a stronger friendship along the way.
And these three ways include, first, emotional intimacy; second, challenging each other and to promote growth within one another; and the third is just to be present with one another. And so the first one I said was emotional intimacy. And this can be achieved through our ability to share ourselves with one another. And to do so, you've got to create an environment with your friends where you feel safe to talk about yourself, to reveal yourself to one another. It's in sharing our faults, our fears, our hopes, our dreams, that we begin to discover more about ourselves and the people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, and I'd say that Jeff and I have had a lot of conversations centering on these topics, whether it's just being there to support one or the other after a hard day at work, talking about fears and pondering the future in terms of going back to school, where we're going to live, etc. But I think one interesting area that I want to touch on especially is conversations that we've had just about the different kind of personalities between us, with Jeff being an extrovert and me being an introvert. You notice that when you're friends, but when you're living together and you see the person every day, those personality differences really come out. And that being open about that and acknowledging what is good for each one of us has really helped build our friendship. And it took a lot of trust, I think, for both of us to open up in that way, but it's been great. So I think moving on to the next point is once you can trust each other, you can build on that and push each other to grow in ways that you might not on your own. So we kind of call the second point challenging each other and promoting growth. And I think doing this not only ultimately builds your friendship, but it can also bring you both closer to God as well. And this can happen in different ways, in different points of your life, as Jeff will discuss.
Yeah, and so during Lent, through our discussions, through those emotionally intimate conversations, talking about our fears or things happening in our lives, we both kind of realized that we lacked in daily prayer, in silence and solitude. So to challenge each other during Lent, we took the Black Book, and each of us would sit down for 15 minutes by ourselves and read it and reflect on it. And then, in a way of promoting growth within one another, we would sit down at the end of the night and talk about what we had reflected on. And I think this definitely helped us to grow in so many ways, and through challenging one another and doing it with someone else, it kind of gave you that, well, I have to do it if he's doing it, and it kind of really helped solidify and strengthen our friendship and our own personal faiths. And so the last we talked about was being present with one another. And this here is, I would call it quality time or carefree timelessness. A lot of times we try to schedule things here and there and we're busy and we say, oh, well, I can hang out with you from 7 to 8 and that'll be good. But when you do it like that, you're not going to have that quality time. You might have 5 minutes of quality time. Instead, your goal should be, let's just waste time together.
So kind of in that vein, each week, we're both pretty busy. We've got busy jobs, trying to keep up with a lot at the same time outside of work as well. But we try to have at least one night where we don't have anything planned, where we're not trying to run to the gym, not trying to run to some social event or anything. Just one night where nothing's planned and we can just hang out, basically. Sit on the couch, watch funny TV, whatever it may be, basketball right now. And we found that really helps build our friendship as well.
Right, and so tying this all back into the quote at the beginning where Jesus says, no one has greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for a friend. One of the big things in friendship, while we may not all be called to literally die for one another, I think in our friendships, in building a strong friendship, one has to die to their own selfish desires and look out for the other person and push each other to grow.
So thank you for watching. We hope that you all got something out of this that can help you in your own friendships as well.
Good job, bro.